Have you ever opened the Bible and wondered, what if the creatures described in its pages were far more terrifying than anything Hollywood could ever imagine? What if, hidden between verses of light and redemption, there were beings so strange, so powerful, that even angels trembled in their presence? Today, we're not just reading scripture, we're stepping inside it. We'll journey through ancient words, dusty scrolls, and divine visions that reveal some of the most extraordinary beings ever recorded. So take a deep breath, because once you see what the Bible truly says about these creatures, you'll never look at it the same way again. Open book introduction: the forgotten beings of the Bible. Throughout centuries, we've painted a gentle picture of the spiritual world. Angels with soft wings, glowing halos, and peaceful faces. But the truth written in the Bible is far from the art on church walls. The scriptures speak of warriors of fire, winged guardians covered in eyes, and mighty beasts that rule both sea and sky. These aren't just stories. They were testimonies of prophets who claimed to have seen them with their own eyes, visions so vivid they shook the foundations of their faith. Imagine standing where Ezekiel stood, watching the heavens open, seeing wheels of light spinning with eyes in every direction, or being with Isaiah, trembling as a creature of pure flame touched his lips with a burning coal. These moments weren't metaphors. They were encounters. And as strange as they sound, each of these beings carried a message about God's glory, his justice, and the mystery of creation itself. From the mighty Leviathan thrashing beneath the sea, to the four living beings that surround the throne of heaven, each one reveals something about the power and order of the universe. They're not monsters from myth. They are signs of something divine, something beyond comprehension. So in this journey, we're going to uncover 13 of the most mysterious and fearsome beings ever mentioned in the Holy Scriptures. Not to frighten you, but to open your eyes, because behind every description of horror lies a glimpse of divine majesty. Milky Way, the invitation to wonder. But before we begin counting down, let's set the stage. Why would a sacred book, a message of hope and salvation, include such terrifying imagery? The answer might surprise you. In ancient times, the people of Israel didn't separate the spiritual world from the physical one. To them, angels and beasts, heaven and earth, good and evil, all existed in a delicate, visible balance. When prophets saw creatures covered in wings, eyes, and fire, they weren't hallucinating. They were witnessing the spiritual reality breaking to the veil of the human world. Those moments were divine revelations meant to remind humanity God's creation is vast, complex, and not limited to what we can see. So when the Bible describes something that sounds terrifying, maybe it's not meant to scare us, but to humble us, to remind us how small we are and how magnificent the Creator truly is. And with that, our journey begins. From the faint shadow of a unicorn in the deserts of ancient Israel to the roaring fire of the throne itself. 13 creatures, 13 revelations, one truth, that the spiritual world is far more alive and far more mysterious than we ever dared to imagine. Now, open your heart and your imagination as we begin our descent through the hidden wonders of the Bible, starting with a creature so misunderstood, most people don't even realize it's in the scriptures. Have you ever wondered what kinds of beings once walked, flew, or even burned their way through the pages of scripture? Some were messengers, some were guardians, and others, reminders of how small we truly are before the mystery of creation. So, let's step into that ancient world together, a world where heaven and earth still spoke the same language. 13. The wild unicorn of the Bible. Long before legends turned into a fairy tale horse, the Bible spoke of a creature called Riem, translated as unicorn. It wasn't gentle or painted in colors. It was wild, proud, untamable. In the book of Numbers, it says, God brought them out of Egypt. He has the strength of a unicorn. Imagine a massive horned beast, like an ancient ox that no one could subdue. To early believers, it represented divine strength, a force that bows to no man. And just like that, the story begins. Every creature we'll meet reveals something about God himself, power, mystery, and the truth that creation was never meant to be ordinary. 12. The seraphim, flames of heaven. Isaiah's vision begins with trembling light. He looks up and the temple shakes. Above him are beings of fire, seraphim, meaning the burning ones. Each has 6 wings. 2 cover their faces, 2 their feet, and 2 lift them in flight. Their voices echo through eternity. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory. When one touches Isaiah's lips with a burning coal, he isn't harmed, he's purified. The seraphim remind us, true holiness doesn't destroy, it transforms. 11. The cherubim, guardians of the sacred. Forget the soft, smiling angels from Renaissance paintings. The real cherubim are awe-inspiring. Ezekiel describes them as radiant beings with 4 faces, human, lion, ox, and eagle. Their wings shimmering, their bodies covered in eyes. They guard what is most sacred. Eden after the fall, the throne of God, the mysteries man cannot yet touch. They are the keepers of divine boundaries. Proof that even in paradise, holiness requires reverence. 10. The Behemoth, strength made flesh. In the book of Job, when a broken man questions God, the answer doesn't come as comfort. It comes as awe. God speaks of Behemoth, the first of all his works. Bones like bronze, muscles like iron, a tail that moves like a cedar tree. It drinks rivers and fears nothing. Was it a great beast now extinct, or a symbol of the earth's raw might? Whichever it was, Behemoth stands as a living reminder. There are powers in this world beyond our understanding, and all of them answer to their creator. 9. The Leviathan, chaos of the deep. If Behemoth rules the land, Leviathan reigns beneath the sea. Job 41 paints a terrifying picture, a monster armored in scales so tight, no air can pass between them. From its mouth come sparks and smoke, its breath kindles coals, its eyes glow like dawn itself. To ancient readers, Leviathan wasn't just a creature, it was chaos incarnate. And yet, even this dragon of the deep lives under divine command, because no darkness, no storm, no sea can resist the voice of God. 8. The 4 living creatures, eyes of eternity. In Ezekiel's vision, the prophet sees something no human language could fully describe. 4 beings moving together as one, each with 4 faces and wings like lightning. One looks like a man, another a lion, another an ox, another an eagle. They carry the glory of God's throne, moving wherever his spirit leads. Their countless eyes symbolize perfect awareness, the idea that nothing escapes divine sight. They aren't just watchers of heaven. They are the living expression of it. 7. The angel of the Lord, the voice before Bethlehem. Throughout the Old Testament, one figure appears again and again, the angel of the Lord. He speaks with the authority of God himself. He commands armies, blesses prophets, and forgives sins, something no ordinary angel can do. To many scholars, this mysterious being is Christ before his birth, walking among men, revealing himself in whispers and flame. When he speaks, it feels like eternity brushing against time. 6. The Nephilim, giants of fallen world. Before the flood, Genesis tells of strange unions between the sons of God and the daughters of men. Their offspring were called Nephilim, giants mighty and feared. They became symbols of corruption, beings of power without wisdom, strength without grace. And when violence filled the earth, the flood came, washing away the arrogance that tried to climb above heaven. Even today, the Nephilim remind us of a truth as old as creation. Power, without humility, will always destroy itself. 5. The serpent of Eden, the whisper of doubt. Not all monsters roar. Some simply whisper. In Eden, the serpent didn't attack Eve. It questioned her. Did God really say? And in that moment of doubt, paradise cracked. That ancient serpent represents the first lie, the one that says we can be our own gods. But even in judgment, God promised redemption. That one day, the serpent's head would be crushed. The story began with a whisper, but will end with a shout of victory. For the destroying angel, shadow of judgment. On the night of the first Passover, Egypt held its breath. A shadow moved through the streets, silent, unseen, unstoppable, where the blood was not on the doorposts. The firstborn fell. This was a destroying angel, an agent not of evil, but of justice. It's a haunting truth. Mercy and judgment flow from the same God. For those who obey, he is salvation. For those who resist, he becomes a consuming fire. 3. The angelic host, warriors of light. When Elisha's servant feared an approaching army, the prophet prayed, "Lord, open his eyes." And suddenly, the mountains blazed with chariots of fire. These were the heavenly hosts, angels who fight not with sword of iron, but with the power of divine purpose. They remind us, even when we feel surrounded, the unseen world fights for us. 2. The dragon of Revelation, the final rebellion. In the last book of the Bible, the ancient serpent returns, not as a whisper, but as a dragon, scarlet, seven-headed, crowned with horns. It wages war in heaven and on earth, but its end is already written. The Lamb triumphs, not through wrath, but through sacrifice. The dragon's roar fades, and peace returns where rebellion once burned. 1. The Lion and the Lamb, the mystery of Christ. At the heart of Revelation stands a vision that unites everything we've seen. The Lion, fierce, royal, unstoppable. The Lamb, gentle, wounded, yet victorious. And they are one and the same. The universe's greatest paradox. Power and mercy, justice and love, bound together in a single being. Every creature, from a fiery seraphim to quiet dove, points to this truth. All creation, in its beauty and its terror, reflects the face of the Creator. And when we finally understand that, fear turns into worship. Mystery becomes meaning, because even the strangest of God's creations carries a message, that there is no chaos too wild, no darkness too deep, and no creature too far gone for the light of heaven to reach. The echo of creation. And so, from the burning wings of seraphim to the roaring depths of Leviathan, every creature we've met tells a story, not only about itself, but about him. The Bible was never meant to be just a book of rules or ancient tales. It's a mirror, reflecting the glory, the danger, and the wonder of the one who made all things. When we read about these beings, the fiery, the terrible, the majestic, we aren't peering into mythology. We are catching glimpses of divine order so vast, it humbles every human word. Each story is a window into God's nature. The seraphim reveal his holiness, the cherubim his protection, Behemoth and Leviathan his power, the angel of the Lord his closeness, the Lion and the Lamb his ultimate mystery, that love and justice are never at war, but two sides of the same eternal face, a universe alive with meaning. The Bible whispers at everything. Every creature, every light in the sky, every breath we take, exists by design. Even the things that frighten us have purpose. The serpent reminds us of our fall, but also of the coming redemption. The destroying angel shows that judgment and mercy flow from the same throne. The hosts of heaven remind us that no matter how dark our world becomes, the battle has already been won in realms unseen. These are not fairy tales. They are reflections, truths wrapped in mystery, waiting for open hearts to see. From fear to faith, when you understand that all creation sings in harmony, even the wildest parts, fear begins to fade. You start to see that God's presence is not limited to temples or visions or heavenly creatures. It's here, in the quiet, in the breath between heartbeats, in the storms and in the silence that follows them. The same voice that spoke to Isaiah through fire, that calmed the sea in Galilee, still speaks today, not always with thunder, sometimes in a whisper. The return of the King. Revelation ends not with destruction, but restoration, a new heaven, a new earth, and at its center, the one who is both the Lion and the Lamb. Every creature bows, every voice sings, because all creation, from the smallest sparrow to the mightiest angel, has been waiting for that moment when heaven and earth become one again. And maybe that's what all these stories have been leading to, not fear, not confusion, but hope, a hope that reminds us, no matter how strange, how powerful, or how mysterious the world may seem, it is still held together by love, the same love that spoke light into darkness at the very beginning, the final whisper. So, the next time you look at the stars, or feel the wind move through the trees, or read of angels, beasts, and wonders beyond this world, remember this. Creation is not silent. It's speaking, always has been, and if you listen closely enough, you might just hear the heartbeat of God, echoing through it all.